We have Judy Conti, Federal Advocacy Coordinator at the National Employment Law Project. This will be followed by a presentation on immigration reform by Mary Small, Associate Director of Policy at Jesuit Refugee Services USA. Finally, Amelia Keegan, Senior Policy Analyst at Bread for the World, will join us to discuss SNAP. So let's start by welcoming Judy Conti to the stage.
Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for inviting me to be here today. I have to tell you, those of us that live and work in DC can often become very cynical with all of the partisanship and the gridlock and the politics around here. And spending an afternoon with all of you young adults who are so enthusiastic and so determined to change the world and giving of your own free time to be here and to do advocacy tomorrow is so rejuvenating and so exhilarating. So I want to thank you for that. And we've got a busy couple weeks coming up, and you're going to help get me through it, so I appreciate it. I'm here to talk about minimum wage, but I'm going to start by saying that the minimum wage is going to be particularly important when we get immigration reform done, because we're going to have 11 million new workers who are eligible for legal status and a pathway to citizenship, who are going to need good jobs and fair wages, and need to be able to provide for themselves and their families and access to food. So all three of our presentations that you're going to hear right now are completely interrelated in great ways. Many popes, most recently Pope John Paul II, have written encyclicals about labor and about workers, and talk beautifully about the dignity of work. That, human beings, of course, are born with inherent dignity. It's one of our God-given blessings. And when you are out there laboring with your body and your mind and your hands and using that to do work for and with and around others and to help support yourself and your family, that should be imbued with all of the dignity in the world. And the best way to make sure that work has dignity is to pay a fair wage for it. And those of us at the National Employment Law Project and our allies, including Bread for the World, who you're going to hear from shortly, are working very hard to try to raise the federal minimum wage. Right now, it's only $7.25 an hour, and over 88% of the people who earn at or near that wage are over the age of 20. Nearly half of them have some degree, if not a full-out degree, from college. So this is an important issue for working people. And I want to leave you with 3 points to remember tomorrow when you're talking about it. First of all, it's the right policy, and that's for 2 reasons. It's fair. It's the right thing to do for workers. If people are making minimum wage and working full-time, they're only making about $15,000 a year. Even in states with low costs of living, that's not enough for somebody to even support themselves, let alone a family. A single parent with 2 children making $15,000 a year is living below the poverty line. Our nation's largest corporations, by and large, are producing jobs that are paying such low wages that people have to be on public benefits even though they're working full-time. And as you will hear President Obama say again and again and again until we raise the minimum wage, people who work full-time should not have to live in poverty. So it is the right thing to do, and we are fighting to raise the minimum wage from $7.25 to $10.10 an hour over the course of 3 steps, 3 yearly raises of 95 cents each. So it's the right thing to do for workers because they deserve better wages, okay? It's also the right policy for our economy, right? We are a consumer-driven economy, and that means for our economy to thrive, people need to have money in their pockets to spend on food, on housing, on electricity, gas, health care, entertainment, clothing. People that are making $7.25 an hour or low wages don't have money to generate consumer spending. They don't have money to put into the economy and support themselves. When you ask small businesses across the country why they aren't hiring more, they will tell you because of low consumer demand. But if we put more money in the hands of low-wage workers, they're going to spend it. They're not going to invest it in the stock market. They're not going to buy real estate that they hold. They're going to spend that money in our local economies, and that activity is going to generate more jobs. So it is the right thing to do for the workers. It's the right thing to do for our economy. And the last point that you can make is that this is one of the most overwhelmingly political popular votes that they can take. NELP commissioned a survey this summer across the country, people from all regions, all walks of life, all political persuasions. And across the board, 80% of those surveyed favored raising the minimum wage to $10.10 an hour. Over 90% of Democrats, over 70% of Republicans, and over 70% of independents, and over 62% of Republicans. So this is not a partisan issue anywhere other than in Capitol Hill and maybe some state legislatures. People out there understand that $7.25 an hour is insufficient, and they support their politicians and they support their elected officials that work to raise the minimum wage. So it's the right thing to do for workers, it's the right thing to do for the economy, and the voters will reward you for doing the right thing. Those are your messages tomorrow. Thank you very much. Have a great day.